Hello and welcome back to our little farm in our little country home. I am so glad you are here. My name is Elizabeth and I love sharing the everyday beauty in our farmhouse here in the country. We are starting out here the day before Thanksgiving. I needed to make a few dishes ahead of time, and then I got up the morning of and made the last few before heading out for our meal. We went over to my parents' house, which is just across the way, and ate Thanksgiving over there. Ate several times and ate a lot of good food. But here I am starting out our cranberry sauce. We do a homemade cranberry sauce. This year I did a whole berry and a jellied cranberry sauce because in the past I've always done a whole berry, and this year my husband requested a jellied. So that is what I made here. And I will say that from here on out, we will be doing the jellied. We just prefer that. I know a lot of people prefer the whole berry. The texture is just not our favorite. And so, one extra step in here for the jellied, but it is very, very worth it.
My baby. Do you know her name? I don't have a name yet. Do you know her name? That'll not hold. That'll be home Vienna. I can't see about it. So funny word, guys. A funny word. A funny joke. Oh, not right now. Oh, okay. 1 minute. Let me see about it. This baby. I'm telling you about the baby. Oh. Bye bye. See you later. Heart.
This was a really simple cranberry sauce recipe. There wasn't a lot of ingredients in it. It was just the cranberries, some water, some lemon juice, some maple syrup, and sugar. And I added a little bit of butter to help with foaming. It made so much that I just went ahead and canned it all that day. So we still have some in our pantry, which we love to eat it year round. You may also hear my little baby crying here. He's in my arms. This is how you get things done when you have a baby. So you may hear him in and out of the video. I also made my pies on these days. Now you will see that these pies are a little different when my parents are eating at something that I'm cooking for. I have to make it gluten-free. They are gluten-free. They get very sick from gluten, and so we have to do things a little bit differently. But it really is not as hard as people make it out to be, and a lot of times I'm using my regular recipes and just using gluten-free flour. And then sometimes, like in the case of this, I will use something that you normally wouldn't and substitute the flour for that. So here I'm making a pumpkin pie, but the crust is made out of pecans. And so that was pecans and butter and brown sugar and vanilla, maybe a pinch of salt, all mixed together, pressed into a pie pan just like you would a cookie crust, and baked for a little bit before I put in my filling, which is what I'm working on here. This was my first time making the pecan pie crust, but I will say we will do it again. It was very delicious. However, you're supposed to pulse your pecans in a blender or a food processor, and I didn't. I just chopped them with a knife. It is good that way, but I'm also going to try pulsing the pecans in the food processor and seeing if it makes it more crust-like. This was almost like a candied nut base rather than like a crust, but it did hold together and it really was pretty good. Now, y'all, we are not big travelers at all, but this past week, the weekend before, and then the weekend after, we had 2 different trips planned. Now, granted, they were not anything major. We stayed within the state, but both of them were about 3 hours away. We first went to celebrate Thanksgiving with Keith, my husband, his grandparents and his side of the family. They live on a lake and it is about 3 hours from us. So this was us heading up there. We always leave really early in the morning, catch the sunrise on our way there, and leave later that night. But every year we go up and help them put up their Christmas tree. And so that is what Isla is doing here with her daddy. No, I don't blame her.
Woo! Dada! Good job, Buggy.
Good job, Buggy. Sorry, then it's gone. She skipped one a minute ago. That was a huge rock to skip like that. Good job, Bug. Phoenix can go after it. Oh gosh. This one's still attached. I can't get it. Oh, it broke apart. Look how big it holds all your other ones.
Mama find a big old shell.
And they were still attached until I picked it up. Can she keep these? And they were both righteous before God, walking in all of the commandments and ordinances of the Lord blameless. And an angel of the Lord appeared to him standing on the right side of the altar of incense. And when Zechariah saw him, he was troubled, and fear fell upon him. I try to sit down with these kiddos of mine every morning at breakfast time and read scripture. It's not always the easiest with a baby and a toddler, but I thought this was a sweet moment to film because we had just started Luke for the Christmas season. We were trying to get through it by Christmas. I don't know that we will because I have to go slow and we have to stop and chat and explain. And so here we are trying to get through the first portion of Luke and hearing the Christmas story, the true meaning of Christmas, the way my babies know what we are celebrating. The following week was spent cleaning. I wanted to get this house clean from top to bottom before I brought out any Christmas decor. And so I actually did some regular cleaning and then I went ahead and did some projects I had been wanting to do, some organization and some cleaning. The first thing I did was swap our clothes out. So we still have the baby in our room. You'll see his crib and now his hutch. I used to have all of my clothes in that hutch. I didn't have very many clothes, and so it just made sense so that all of the extra baby stuff could be in the closet with my husband's stuff. However, apparently I've gone on a few too many shopping sprees because I started outgrowing my hutch, and it just made sense to fit all of his things in this hutch that were over by his crib anyway. So now we have a little nursery set up over on the other side of the room, and I went ahead and went through his clothes and pulled out the next size up because he had outgrown some of his teeny tiny baby stuff. Small. His little hat from the hospital. The NICU. We have really struggled with our bedroom lately and keeping it clean and organized and tidied because we do have a 4-month-old in this room with us. And then our toddler is in here a lot. Her diapers and things are in here. They're not in her room. It is just easier for us to get everyone ready in here. And so essentially 4 of us are in this room a lot. But that also means I need it to be tidy so that I do not go crazy trying to function in here. And so I got it all fixed up, cleaned up, removed any fall decor, and just tidied it up before I brought out the Christmas stuff. I also had a ton of laundry to catch up on. It seems like it's a constant thing. I have to do laundry every day to keep up with it so that it doesn't get overwhelming. And then if I get behind a little bit, it seems that it all just explodes everywhere, all over the house. So that is what I did. Those were the main focuses, a few extra projects, and just catching up on the laundry that was spread out everywhere. Hold it. Okay, put it right here on our kitchen towel pile. Oh, look! The second project on my list was dealing with this goofy stove. So I mentioned, I think the last video, that we got a new stove. The element in our old one went out, and while we did fix that and we're going to use that as a secondary stove elsewhere, I have just been wanting to replace it for a coil top. It was a glass top, and it was just worn. It was pretty old. So we replaced it with this stainless steel coil top electric stove, and I'm very excited, but it does not have the backdrop on it, or whatever that's called on the back, where it sits up higher, and so you could see where we had stopped painting, and so I had to fix that. Thankfully, before we got the stove, I had ordered the colors from Benjamin Moore, some samples to touch up some other areas around the house, and so I already had the paint. It was just a matter of getting it done, and I'm going to go ahead and do a second coat on this sometime, but for now, at least it is covered and it doesn't look half done anymore. 1.5 cups. Wait, let me get it. Oh, you want to dump it here? Let me get more. Hang on, hang on. Dump that in there. Dump that in the center. Okay. And here we are back in the kitchen where we stay most of the time. I had several orders. I do sourdough orders and other baked good orders. I have sewing orders that I do for aprons and various other projects, and I had a few of those. So Ala helped me. We made extra because we had a second trip coming up that we wanted to take these cookies for, and so we just made us a big old batch of cookies for several different things. So here she is in the kitchen helping me with that. How many? How many was that? One. Wait, you gotta get it all the way filled. There you go. How many is that? 2. So how many more? Get it all the way full. All the way full. All the way full. How many is this? 3. Okay, so that's enough of that one. You want to come back this way? You can see your mama. Oh, did I scare you? So like that, we're going to pack that in. 1. And you can go like this. Throw that in. How many is this? 2. And 1 more, okay? Kind of press it down. Okay, dump it in there. Good. 3. Huh? Yeah. Yeah. You love to do what? This? Yeah, you love to make bake, don't you? Very gentle, okay? And we don't crumble it. Look, we pull it apart. Like that. We're going to scoop and then add that in. Good job. We're going to dump all these in. Can you dump that in? Okay, and we're going to do a whole... Oh. You don't need to taste test every little thing. My goodness. Okay. All these chocolate chips, that may have been way too much. We're going to do half of these with pecans and half without. Now squeeze it. Like that. What? You love to do this? Oh, right here. Sorry. Oh, I got distracted. You're doing a really good job. I'm really impressed. Dad is gonna be so proud of these cookies. He's gonna be so excited.
That's the way I made. I don't have time.
Last bite. You made those. Are you proud?
Yeah.
Were they good? You did a good job. Are y'all readers? Do y'all like to read? I have always loved to read. Many times my parents said they would find me hidden somewhere on the property reading. I have always loved to read. I've always loved to write. And so, especially when it starts getting cold outside, I tend to go more towards my books. And so this was a nice day so I could sit outside and read. But Isla had a book out there that she sat and read. And we just had a small little moment on the porch reading some books. It didn't last long, but that is one of my favorite things to do. That was A Lighthouse Christmas, I believe, by Jenny Hale. I'm still finishing it up. It takes me a little bit to get through these books with kiddos, but it is really good so far. I recommend any of her books. They're just simple little romance stories, but they have a little more of a storyline than, traditional Hallmark, and I love that about them. Pretty. And back on to the projects of this week to prepare for Christmas. This one was more of a functional and less of a getting ready to decorate kind of project. But this pantry, I really struggle with it. I can't keep it organized and clean because we are in and out of it, and food comes and goes out of it. And so it seems that every month or every few months I have to get in here and just completely redo it. It's not pretty. I have plans to make over this pantry, but for now, every time I clean it out, I feel pretty good about it, and it really just has to be functional because we do a lot of cooking and baking between what we eat and then what I sell, and so it has to be functional. It can't just be pretty. And so I was so tired of everything junked up in here. I went through and just reorganized everything, cleared out some jars, and this was probably my biggest project of the week and the one that made the most difference in our day to day. Now I cannot be ashamed of what it looks like if people glance in it, where before I was like, don't open the pantry, it looks terrible. But here's your sign, go clean out your pantry. I highly recommend you spend just a week before every holiday or season that you decorate for and just take time to get your house together before you drag in more stuff. I like to do this every season, and it just makes it a lot easier to get in the decor and then also take it out. You're not just piling stuff on top of dirt, and your functional parts of your home get organized well before you bring in the pretty stuff, and that is what is important. Do y'all ever do this where you just take time to just completely clean out and redo the organization in your house before anything else? It is so worth it. Thank you for joining me again. I know this wasn't as exciting of a video. I'm hoping the next one may be a little more exciting, but this was just a get it together kind of video as I prepare to start bringing out the Christmas stuff. As always, I love to share the everyday beauty in our farmhouse here in the country. Thanks for stopping by.